Welcome to BeatzNEatz. I'm Chef Net, and tonight we are making a meatball eggplant harmony. A meatball eggplant harmony. And our ingredients are ground turkey meatballs, eggplant, it's the star of the show also, red onion, green bell peppers, red bell peppers, some fresh garlic. You know I love garlic. Fresh basil, marinara sauce, some mozzarella. You're gonna season that meat up with a little bit of seasoning salt, some garlic powder, and to really bring out that nice flavor, chili powder. Chili powder. So my ingredients, my meatballs are pretty much already seasoned. I'm just gonna add a little bit more to the pan when I cook the vegetables. And I have my eggplant here, it's skinned, but I haven't sliced it up yet. I'm gonna do that.
You ready to cook? Let's cook.
So get my pans going here, one for the eggplant. I'm gonna saute it, and one for the meatballs and the vegetables, to bring that all together, and I'll put that cheese over it, and oh, so excited. Are you excited? I'm the one that gets excited about cooking. Probably, I don't know, but I love it. And this is one of those meals, it's low carb, it has a lot of protein in it with the ground turkey in it, and if you want to add other things to it, you can, but tonight we're just doing this meatball eggplant harmony. And I named it harmony because, you know, we got that beat going with it too. Let's get our pans going. I'm going to just have some avocado oil. Doesn't matter what kind of oil you got. Get that pan going. Got 2 pans going tonight. Set this to the side just in case I need a little bit more. So anytime like I'm craving an Italian dish or like some pasta and I know I really don't need it, I don't want it at the time based on my goals, based on your goals, oil to this one. These are my non-stick pans, so I'm really not worried about anything sticking. I just want to make sure that the eggplant gets that nice cook on it. I haven't cut my eggplant, I cut the skin off, but I haven't cut them into slices because, you know, some vegetables or even some fruit, when you cut them, the oxidation from the environment, from the air on a vegetable, and I really don't like to see that. So right now you can see it's happening on the outside, which is fine. I just want to make sure that when I cut it, I get that nice, beautiful inside. Cut the bottom off. And I'm just going to cut these into like some slices. And let them cook. Like if you've ever cut an eggplant before, it's really spongy. Like the texture is really spongy. But it cooks to a beautiful texture. And that's what I love about it. It's really filling in taste. Like it really gives you a really good mouthful feel. A mouthful feel, that's a mouthful in itself. A mouthful feel. And I'm also just gonna season these up with a little bit of salt. So I'm gonna cut these. Cut this one pretty thin. Get in this one. Yep. So now we got our nice little eggplant. And this is going to be a layer of our eggplant harmony. So sort of like you layering a lasagna, so we're just gonna plate it all up together. You hit it with some salt. Test it out. And they suck up oil really quick, so run it around there. Try to get some of my nice layers over there. And it's already sucking my oil up. Started sucking it up. So like I said, I'm just gonna let those saute. This pan should be ready. Oh, and I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of seasoning salt. Maybe just a little garlic powder, just because I love garlic. So that's all I'm gonna do for that. Let's see if I can add another one in there. Make room for it. Yep. So this pan is nice and warm. Got our beautiful bell peppers here. Go ahead and drop those in. And I got my onion, my red onions. Drop those in. These just rings. You can dice yours if you want. Get these going. And when these cook down, I'm just gonna drop my meatballs in there. They shouldn't take that long. Just roll them around in that pan. And I'm gonna add my fresh garlic. Of course, you know I had some garlic up in here somewhere. And I don't want my garlic to burn, so I want to try to make sure I sit it on top of the vegetable at first. Oil to this pan. Get those mixed up in there. Look at there. The colors. The colors. And you don't have to do red. You can do yellow bell pepper, you can do orange bell pepper, you can do spinach, you could do, I've never done kale, that sounds kind of good. But you could throw some olives in there, whatever you like. Check in on these guys. So like I said, make sure you have a lot of oil on hand when you're sauteing eggplant, because they will suck up the oil because they're so spongy. I'm just gonna flip these over. Move them around a bit. Crank that temperature up. You can pair this with a nice wine, a nice red wine. I'm not a wine connoisseur, but if I were pairing a wine, I would do a nice red. Probably a dry, semi-sweet. And I'm gonna hit this with some chili powder. something about chili powder just makes everything so delicious. Chili powder in your burgers. Of course, you can use it to make, hot dogs, hot dog chili. But something about chili powder when you put it in your turkey or your ground beef, chef's kiss. It just does something amazing. That's my secret ingredient, so y'all don't tell anybody. And it's really not a secret because it's in my book, After the Nest, the Culinary Edition. I have a recipe in there for, I call it gourmet turkey burgers. And that recipe calls for chili powder, and it is absolutely delightful. Crank this up just a bit. And if you really want to cook your vegetables, a little bit quicker, you can always hit it with some water, put a lid on it, and just let it steam and let those vegetables cook down. And that's another way to, get your vegetables going pretty quick. Smells amazing. I always want to get you in there on that. Check in our eggplant here. They're nice and beautiful. I bring them in as well. And even with your eggplant, you can dust them with some flour. In my case, I like to use oat flour or an almond flour, and you can dust just a little bit, and it'll give like that little crunch, breading on the outside of it, which just gives it a really nice texture when you bite into it. And it gives me the thought of like gosh, what is it? Like when you have your coating on the eggplant, like a parm kind of deal. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know. But I love eggplant. I love the texture. I love the taste of it, especially when it's seasoned well. It's cooking well. All my vegetables over here. That chili powder is giving it a really nice aroma. Crank that up a bit. So once these get to the texture that I want, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop my meatballs in there and put my sauce over it and let those simmer a little bit and marry and get acquainted. And then when it's time to layer it up, I'm gonna layer the eggplant and the meatballs and the marinara sauce and my delicious mozzarella that I have over here. Just get it all together. And layer over those beets. This beet. Tonight, it's BeatzNEatz, right? I call it my 007 remix. And when I say 007, you already have an idea what kind of melody and harmony that brings. So the 007 is like something, if you hear it at the club, you know what's going down. You know it's going down. You might sweat out your weave, your shirt, whatever you got, your locks, your something is gonna be sweated out. You know what? Just what? Oh my God, I had to. Okay. Eggplant. I have to get back to the eggplant because the music. See what the thing trying to make me burn my eggplant. See what the music does. See what the music does to me. I don't know which I love more, the beats or the eats. It's the. Oh. My gosh. The 007 remix will have the club a jumping. So now I'm gonna take my eggplant out. This one is ready. It's nice and ready. And I have two more I can just throw in the pan. And by that time, my vegetables are pretty much ready to go also. That's a pretty thick piece right there. Cut this down just a little bit. Adjustments in the kitchen, sometimes you gotta make them. Oh, that's perfect. Run that around in some oil. So now I'm going to start adding my meatballs in. And I'm just gonna add a little bit more oil so they can cook as well. You see the smile on my face? The music makes me do it. I was about to say something else, but I didn't want to get no copyright infringement. Snuggle my meatball in there. Snuggle my meatball in there. And like I said, these are seasoned with some seasoning salt, chili powder, and some garlic powder. Set these through there. I am super excited for this meatball eggplant harmony. How everything comes together with these, some seasoning salt. I'm gonna hit it with some garlic powder too. I'm telling y'all, one day I'm gonna get a shirt that says I love garlic. And my basil that I'm gonna finish it off with. It's gonna be so amazing. So make sure none of these are sticking. Move them around a bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my sauce to this pan. and let it cook down. Give it a nice simmer to it. Let all those things, all those bell peppers and all those onions and all the goodness come together. And I want to roll them around so they can cook evenly. That's beautiful right there. Make sure my meatballs are evenly cooked. I don't want no undercooked meatball. I don't want to overcook it either. That's what we're looking right there. Check in on my eggplant over here. Flip these over. These are cooking very nicely. Add just a little more oil. And if you want to bake this, when it gets done, and you put everything together, your cheese, your eggplant, your meatballs and everything, and hit it with that cheese, and if you want to put it in the oven, you just let it get that cook in there and all the bubbling action going on. I might just do that. I may just do that when I plate it. Just pop it in the oven and just let it get that. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. It's BeatzNEatz, we can do what we want. So they're starting to shrink up a little bit. Move it around. Some spots are cooking faster than others. Smells good. I'm even gonna go and put some of my vegetables on top. Down in there. If you want to use ground beef or if you want to use ground chicken, you can. You can do no meat at all. You can do beans, black beans, pinto beans. Check it out, you guys. Check it out. Check it out. So I'm gonna like swing these around so they can sit on the sides and cook. It's so juicy and beautiful. You don't have to make yours as big as I made mine, but you know, when you cook meat, it has a tendency to shrink down. So like you make ground patties, you know, they'll be big starting out, but then they'll gradually shrink down. Eggplants are so beautiful, and I didn't start eating eggplant. Maybe my parents snuck it, my grandmother or my auntie, maybe they snuck it in somewhere. But as an adult, I never really cooked with eggplant. But when I started cooking with eggplant, I started cooking with eggplant. They're so delicious. I'm gonna turn my meatballs down because I don't want it like just to cook the outside. I want to make sure they get cooked on the inside. Move them around. I mean, you can even lid this and just let it simmer. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with my marinara sauce. Let that get to simmering. I'm just gonna fill it in, like surround those meatballs. So now we're adding the sauce. Now we're gonna have a little bit more heat around it, being in that liquid, to do its thing. To do its thing. Let me check this out. It's that meatball. So I'm gonna crank this up. Now that it has the sauce in it, I can crank it up. The eggplants are coming out pretty good. Oh yeah. Yep, it's my second batch, looking pretty right. And if you want to make your own red sauce with some cherry tomatoes, stew them up, and then like add you some fresh garlic, some oil, some olive oil to it, and just let it, cook down, and then add that to it. So that way you're not using anything packaged or processed, which in this case I'm using some store-bought. Or when you do buy your store-bought, make sure you read their labels, read the ingredients, and see how much sugar per serving, salt, and all that good stuff. And that's another chapter in my book, reading nutrition labels. So now come over here and BeatzNEatz. I try to give you the knowledge and information that I have. I tell you what I know. So I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about reading labels and how, sodas aren't the best beverage to drink and partake in. But if you do drink sodas, just to make sure you see how many servings is in the actual container, because you might buy a bottle of soda about this big, 12 ounces, and you're thinking you're drinking one serving. So if you look on the back and you see 24 grams, I'm really low balling it. They're usually like way high, 30 something grams. Look at the number of servings. So if you have 2 servings in a bottle and it has 34 grams of sugar, and you drink the entire thing, you just drank 68 grams of straight sugar. High fructose corn syrup, whatever you want to call it, however you want to mask it, sugar. And that's like laying out like teaspoons of sugar and just eating them. So I say all that to say that reading labels is important. Okay? Okay. So that one's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one out as well. That one's ready. So my eggplants is ready. Check in over my meatballs. Flip them around. My goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. These are the prettiest meatballs I've ever seen in my life. Ever seen in my life. So I'm just going to take that sauce. Just keep covering it up. You can even add, when you finish it off, when you put the mozzarella on, you can add some parm. You do so much with this recipe. It is crazy gorgeous too. Mm, 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 mm. You ever been so good you want to salute your food? Just telling this thank you for his service in advance. You could even put this over a bed of like I said, you could do over some spinach, or you just put this over a bed of like spring mix and eat it like that. So many ways and so many options you have with cooking. So many things that you can do and experiment and play around. So many different types of sauces and seasonings and oils and all the good stuff. So I'm gonna do a test cut on one of these meatballs and just see how we're looking on the inside. So a little bit more cooking needed. Turn this over. Almost there. Crank this up, get it going. Going to add some more sauce to it. And some people, if they see fit and want to add sugar to it just to cut that acidity in the sauce, you can do that. You add some, if you don't want to add sugar, you can add Splenda to it. I use Splenda when I cook. A little goes a long way, which is why I like it. They look great. And I am gonna hit it with just a little sweetness, just a little Splenda, a big pinch. Just take down that acidity in it. And I think we're almost done. You can add pepperoni. I'm still thinking about things you can add pepperoni to it. If you're gonna process meats, I like an occasional processed meat. A lot of people think I'm vegetarian. I'm like, not yet. Maybe one day. You know, I do have days where I go like, I won't eat meat for a few days, or I don't start my day. I definitely don't start my day with meat, but I do on occasion enjoy a nice quality meat. So I think we're almost ready to layer these eats over those beets and plate it up. You ready to plate? Let's plate. back and our meatball eggplant harmony is done. After I layered it, I put it in the oven on 385 for about 15 minutes. And right at the end, to get that cheese brown, I hit it with a low broil for about 3 minutes. And then hit it 1 minute at the end with a high broil, just to give it that nice golden cheese bake with all our meatballs and all our eggplant in there. And I'm ready to taste. And I know it's gonna be so good. I got my basil on top. Oh, I made you one too. It's for you. All right, let's dig into this. Oh, that ground turkey is beautiful. Beautiful. Make sure I get some of that eggplant at the bottom. Some cheese. Oh, there's the eggplant right there. The cheese. Check it out, you guys. Just check it. Check it out. Wow. It's food enough for me to carry. I'm gonna leave yours here. We'll come back for it though. I wanna make sure you had your serving, okay? All right. I know what to do. Enjoy some beets.